Welcome to the Pirate Broadcast, where we interview interesting people doing interesting things, where you can expand your connections, your community. Kindness is cool and smiles are free. And let's get this party started. We have a seasoned veteran in the room. Pirate Eric is here. Eric, how are you doing, my friend?
Super fantastic.
You know, it's
how's that for an answer?
That's a good answer. Super fantastic. I always used to say super califragilisticexpialidocious. So
now we're dating ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I'm okay with dating myself. It's like I've earned these wrinkles and bumps. You've been working on several programs, and I want to dive into some of the things that you're working on, some of the activities you're focused on, and some of the people you help. And let's work backwards and talk about how you're helping others around you, because it's been an interesting ride for you in the last couple of years. 2020, with COVID and all of the activities you've been going on, and walk us through that process for us.
Yeah, great. And again, thanks to being back on your show. I love chatting with you. So thank you. 2020, to say the least, was a disruptive year. And primarily, we coach executives on premise. They'll come to my office, or I would go on location to do leadership development workshops and all-day events. So then 2020 happened, and we had to really look at how we're going to serve moving forward. So like with a lot of organizations, we had to pivot. So I had been a course creator a few years back. I decided to go that route again. I created a lot of my work is in neurolinguistics programming with leaders and emotional intelligence to uptick emotional intelligence skills. Uh-huh. So that is the one-on-one work is really, really translatable in a digital platform. So we created New Mindset Academy. About that time, I was introduced to you, and I was launching with a free course called Abundance Mindset in 12.2 minutes. And that went well. And thank you for helping me with that.
You
appreciate that effort. You're really a giver in the community and well known for that. So by the time it's scaled, it's going to be a subscription model. So we'll still do the one-on-one and the workshops with corporations, but we're moving more towards a subscribe model where there'll be 30 courses when it's scaled, and not just me as an instructor. I'm going to have other instructors in the academy as well, but on leadership development, on mindset change, on sales. We're going to have sales courses in there as well.
Okay. So. Well, and for those that have not created a course, there's 10,000 details in creating a course. There's a lot of, writing scripts, rewriting scripts. It's what's the topics, what's the approach, how do you platform it, what do you put it on, learning management systems, all of these details. And so congratulations for going through that process and forging ahead on a course, because it's not an easy process for a lot of people. So.
And as you know that, because you've done yours too. So you
Absolutely.
know how challenging that is. And the model is changing quite dramatically, where it's becoming gamified. And we're going to be incorporating that into our future model as well, where appropriate, where we can do the emotional intelligence types of exercises that we can gamify it to make it funner. But you're right. I had to go back to school to learn how to do the courses. I had to take a course to learn how to do a course.
Well, yeah, taking a course to learn how to do a course. How meta is that?
Right. It's changed so much. I mean, the first one I created I used another platform that's now got a lot of competition to it, but that was Kajabi is one of the very first ones that I knew of back in 2016-ish. Uh-huh. So it's not been that long ago, but it's changed so dramatically since 2016 on how content's delivered.
It's interesting to me. So what was the biggest challenge you had in the course creation process this last time?
Creating the models, the examples that are meaningful enough. Because when I'm one-on-one with someone, I get to know them as a person and what they'll understand and relate to.
Mhm.
So making the examples relatable enough to a broad audience of leaders. That was the biggest challenge in making sure those were meaningful. And I think we've nailed it. The one I want to talk to you about today, Recalibrate the Uncommon Success Map, because we're in the new year.
Yeah.
That one's been doing well. But currently I'm creating another one called Self-Image Reimagined. And that one is upticking self-confidence. We've been through a tough year,
Yeah.
and shattering those limiting beliefs that can be created as a result of going through traumatic and tough times.
It's interesting to me and this is really important conversation we're having, because Eric has gone through, and if you're familiar with NLP and the language that you can use to inspire and encourage and motivate people to do great work. NLP is at the core, some of those practices of being able to distinguish how you use language in your sales process, in your demonstration, in your coaching, in your speaking. A lot of that comes into play. And taking that and transferring it into a course where it's available to many people all at the same time, it's a much different process than having a one-on-one coaching session. So even the language in the language has to be a little modified.
For sure. And NLP is kind of a diagnostic tool. It's the map, it's not the territory. So we have a map of how to work with someone and using different modalities to help them repattern thoughts and speech. So those are incredibly powerful. I was exposed to it going through a recovery from trauma issues and PTSD back in the 90s. Tony Robbins, I was introduced to it for the first time. And it intrigued me so much. And within a few sessions, I was transformed. And that word is used a lot.
Yeah.
It's become cliche. But I can tell you that the issues I had been carrying along with me for years went away. And I thought this can be used because, entrepreneurs, when someone's fantastic at something, it's usually at the expense of something else. You have a legendary athlete, Tiger Woods, fantastic on the golf course, but his parents trained him to be a professional golfer, but then neglected on the emotional part. And he's recovered, fantastic. He's a winner, the champion. So he's just come back in the last couple of years, as you know, I'm sure. But you see these examples all the time of leaders that are fantastic in one particular area, but the emotional intelligence is not to the point where it's disruptive in other parts.
Oh, I've spent years working on myself, and I think we have to continue to work on ourselves. We're all in different phases, in different places in our life. And I don't believe that there's anyone that's perfect, and we can always improve in different areas. There's things that we can have, and courses like what you're providing and what you're delivering are so important and so critical for those that are in that place where they want to be able to make a change in their world. Take something and apply it. And it's what the analogy I use, Eric, is always, life is like an instrument. We just have to continue practicing at it until we exit, right?
Great metaphor. Yep.
And the reality is we have an opportunity to learn something. So talk a little bit about what this current course delivers, and what the outcomes could potentially be for someone that takes this course.
Yeah, great. So I'm involved in a mastermind and on social quite a bit, and of course coaching. The combination of those three. Last year, I was hearing the chatter about what do we do in this uncertainty. No one knows how to go through a pandemic like what we've been experiencing, and we're doing it for the very first time, all of us. So how do we lead people when we aren't certain about the future and about what to do? So Recalibrate is about, first of all, Recalibrate is about beliefs, shattering limiting beliefs. The one course I'm writing right now is about values. So the two of those things is what governs our lives. So the beliefs part, I started with first because it was in demand for how do we set proper goals? How do we find direction? Because the next best thing to having certainty as a leader is to have clarity. And we ourselves as leaders need to have that clarity internally before we can lead others, to help them have clarity on what to do next. And that's what it is in leading, right? It's knowing what to do next and helping others do those things that we're not great at. So we're tapping into them to run our organizations. So Recalibrate is about, first of all, going through some exercises to question beliefs that could be limiting performance. So it could be related to confidence. It could be related to self-esteem. Those types of confidence, self-esteem, those two go together, of course. But it could be on, how do we collaborate? So perhaps the leader's been through situations where collaboration has not been a priority, but collaboration, and I've experienced this, I think you have too recently, in the last year, I should say, that collaborating is huge because collective minds together can solve a lot of problems. So that's what we tackle the first part of the course, Recalibrate, the Uncommon Success Map, is first finding a belief to question, and then through the exercises, we shatter that belief and then reframe the belief to something greater, optimize it, and then go through the process of setting goals.
The one thing that I want to tag onto something and amplify this a little bit. Reframe your belief, and identifying a belief that you may not even recognize that is a limiting belief. And it could be an adjustment in the way you see it. One of the things that I've been spending a lot of time on right now is this idea that my value is associated with my experience and not necessarily with the time I can spend on a task. From an entrepreneur's journey, the value that I bring to the table is the experience I've had over the years to be able to apply different tactics and techniques and different strategies to solve a solution. It's not necessarily that I can work on it for 8 hours. It's not that I can outwork you because we all have the same 24 hours. It's not associated with an employee's mindset of this is how much I'm worth per hour. It's more about, if I solve a big problem and it's incredibly valuable to your organization, that holds a lot of value, even if it's just knowing which lever to pull or which sentence to say or what magic words to put in your marketing program. And I think, removing the association, my historical association with earnings and money, and that's a huge one for a lot of people. Is that something that your program is going to talk about and reframe for people? Because that seems to be a big struggle for a lot of people, and I'm not alone in that struggle.
Well, and I admire you for the work that you do, because your life experiences are what people relate to, right? And so I'm a believer that there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, I just did an article last week that talked about Socrates and questioning, right? The 5 layers of questioning. You're asking the why 5 times.
Yeah.
And that why is so important. So that's been going on for generations, and people like me repackage it in different ways, right? So then it comes into, what is the why? Why am I doing it? And what matters the most in what I'm doing today to, fulfill that why, and then having that in front of me. So I've got on a whiteboard over here, my why and why I'm doing this. And throughout the day, I meditate. I'm a meditator. and I'll visualize on that why, because quite frankly, it's been a challenging year for bringing in new revenue. We've been blessed with being able to survive this, but when those challenging times come, you really have to go back to the reason why it is, and then prioritize from there. So you're working backwards.
Yeah.
And that, so for you, for example, is figuring out those activities that are going to be able to deliver, boldly express your purpose out there. And you do a great job at that. And with what you do with Smiles Are Free, I love that
the kindness is cool and
mindset.
smiles are free.
Love that. And you're boldly expressing your purpose out there. And that, to me, then everything goes backwards. We were talking before the show about your growth for 2021. That's super exciting.
Yeah.
And what you're doing. And I think you probably did these things, right? You discover your why you're doing it. So that's what Recalibrate does as well. So Recalibrate, we shatter those beliefs, reframe perceptions about what we can do, and then dig into the why.
I want to, talking about why, part of my why has always been, I want to make sure that people have a voice. They have an opportunity to speak up and be heard. And Jorge from Spain is back in the room. Thank you so much for being here all the way from Spain. Michael Baker is an amazing supporter of the Pirate broadcast. And Michael, we need to connect in the afternoon. I know you're in Florida, so I'll reach out and make a connection. Jenny Gold is in the house. Jenny, she sent me some amazing products from a company recently, hemp-based products, which is a growing, expanding industry. Jenny's going to be a pirate here in the future. And I just love what she's doing and all of the energy she brings to the room. Michael Baker also says, skills have to be developed to reach your potential.
Well said.
And you say a lot of things here, Michael. And if you're in the comments, time out. Michael's over on YouTube. And for anyone that knows, YouTube is a place where you can get notified. LinkedIn, you get notified. If you happen to be on LinkedIn at the time, you get a notification. There's a lot of ways. YouTube is really a great place to get notified. You can go to the channel. You can get notified. You can put that out there. Michael's in from YouTube. Silver Fox, Darlene, hi, morning, checking in. Hello, all pirates. She's in from Florida as well. Love that you're here. And Michael Baker also says, prioritize your priorities. Focus on the process to get results. And I want to speak to that a little bit, Eric, and have us kind of go in a different direction, because you mentioned the idea of have the why in mind. And a lot of people struggle actually with finding out, they have a kind of an area, a direction they feel like it's important. For myself, I think it's really important for myself. This is my why, is I want the freedom to do, think, and have the space that I can actually do deep thinking and a lot of creative process in my world. And when you're so busy being busy, it takes away from that. And a lot of times what entrepreneurs do when they first start out is they're so busy because they're wearing all these hats, they're doing all these things because they don't have the revenue, they don't have they can't delegate. So my mantra for 2020 was document and delegate. And now this year I'm delegating and opening up that space and allowing myself to actually grow. Because for 10 years, I was telling myself this story of, I'm just going to create a few websites. I'm going to do some marketing for a couple of companies. I don't want to be in the corporate world. I don't want to build a company. And now it's to the point where it's like, hey, if I create something amazing, I can help a lot of people for the next 5 years, and then, shift my focus and step out of the business, and then allow that business to continue to run and operate without me having to do everything. And that's, and my why is around this idea that when I'm freed up, I can create some amazing things for other people and do some other things that are of interest to me. And so just taking care of my family, making sure everybody's okay, taking care of, whatever expenses are necessary. I'm a minimalist, and then just moving forward in that direction and helping as many people as possible. So my goal is 100 shows every month, recurring. Boom.
Yeah, awesome.
So to manifest that and go back and work backwards, it took me a while to get to that point where I could commit to that a statement and actually make it real. And so or let me ask it a different question or a different way, is what tools or what process can we use to get clear on our why?
It has to be in the forefront, because I wrote an article on Sunday and it's entitled "How to Take Back Control of Your Life," and it's kind of a tickler. So it's a clickbait title, because we most of the time can't control anything, right? We can control our actions or control our thoughts.
We control our response to what happens to us.
There you go. And that's in the article I talk about. Find the hidden treasures in the disruption. So when you're having problems, I mean, in goal setting, I talk about in Recalibrate is to measure and pivot if need be. Yeah. Because if you stay on the same path, if you're setting smaller goals, you have this big audacious goal like what you've got, 100 broadcasts, and in getting there's a lot of smaller things you got to accomplish to hit that goal, right? So if something happens with your channel, then you got to pivot, find a new channel. So at some point when things are imploding within an organization, because when you have something new, a lot of things are untested. Yeah. And in going after as an entrepreneur or creating a new product or growing a company, when you're incorporating new business systems in that process, things are going to be untested. So you have to go back and measure it. So I found we're in our 11th year of coaching, or in my practice, 11th year. And I found that a lot of times entrepreneurs give up on their goals when these things happen. So the article I wrote on Sunday was to address that. So find the hidden treasures in the disruption and then pivot from there and be able to measure your results, not necessarily focusing on the short-term goal outcome, because actually, let me reframe that. You want to focus on the short-term goal outcome to make sure it's working, but you want to really be focused on the big picture to get there. So if you have a goal that you don't hit as a short-term goal, you can change that goal to get to the ultimate goal. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So finding the hidden treasures in last year, we found quite a few, because it can be easy to there's a lot of people unemployed. It's easy to get stuck in that rut. Not the rut of there's nothing I can do to get through this. And there's a lot by taking a course, for example. But that's one of the things you can do, is to uptick your skills.
Yeah.
Someone said just on your chat there, uptick your skills to learn how to move forward.
Absolutely. And then Michael says here, yes, as coaches, we have to help others see things for themselves so they become aware no matter what they may be. And it's really, and I've said this on the show so many times, Eric, is that in every obstacle, there is an opportunity. Because if it's a challenge for someone and you can provide a solution to that challenge, that's an opportunity. So don't look at challenges as from a victim's perspective. Look at it from a helper's perspective. Look at it from, how can I help solve this problem? How can I initiate a plan of action to remove this obstacle from our path? Some of those things, and thinking differently and doing differently you'll end up being different. And learning, constantly learning is a great way to start.
I view it as an adventure. So, hey, I went down this road for a short way and measured the results. It didn't work. So I need to change routes to get to where I want to go. So it's that adventure mindset in me. I love the adventure.
Yeah.
So.
Treat it like an adventure. I love that. Angie says, good morning, pirates. Love that you're here. Love you, Angie. Thank you so much. She says, the Pirate Syndicate helps so many people. I do Tracy's the producer of the show, Eric, and she helps. She's a tremendous asset and value to the show. And the Pirate Syndicate's building steam. I got a lot of live events that I'm doing right now. I've got clients. I'm doing all of the OGGN and oil gas. They have 1 million downloads on their podcast, and they're just doing a lot of live streams with lots of large sponsors. And all of these activities are building muscle and building solutions and practicing outcomes for how to do this process, how to help more people. And all of these things are leading in that direction because I set an intention of the goal and had a why. And it's so amazing that, and I say the universe is conspiring to help me, because I'm very clear on what I need to do. I don't know the how. I don't know everything along the way that's going to take place in order to accomplish this goal. I just know that I'm moving in that direction. I'm learning every day. I'm taking courses. I'm teaching courses. I'm creating courses and helping people along. And it's amazing to think that that's all you need to do. I mean, just do the work. There's no shortcuts. There's no magic dust. There's no snap your fingers and it's going to be there.
I would add to that, I'm a recovering pessimist. And I've got to really watch my attitude. So I get that stinking thinking that can pop up out of nowhere during the day. I got to monitor that, and I do. And it works. So yeah, I'd add to that for a person like me, it's a recovering pessimist. Yeah. Watch what the mindset's happening, what's going on with that.
Yeah. Well, the optimist is always disappointed and the pessimist is always surprised, right? I'm going to just keep swinging. I've been kicked down so many times. It's like almost like exercise now.
Les Brown, I got to meet him several years ago. He's a great guy. And one of my favorite sayings of his is, as long as I can look up, I can get up.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. He's still out there doing his thing. It's amazing.
Yeah. And that's my goal is I just want to continue. Retirement is not in my vocabulary. I love what I do. I love who I help. I love helping others, and finding a way that we can do this is great work. And thank you so much for doing this. Tell us before we take off, Eric, how do people access your courses, your course that you have right now? And I know that you wanted to share a little bit of an opportunity with people. So
yeah,
walk us through that right now.
Thank you. Could you put up on the screen mysuccessblueprint.us? Is that possible to do?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where they go to get it. mysuccessblueprint.us. For your viewers, I want to offer a coupon for $100 off the course. And that can be the DYI or the DYI Plus, called the Gold or the Platinum. So it's $100 off either one of those.
Uh-huh.
And the coupon code is 100OFF.
Is that it? mysuccessblueprint.us.
So the coupon code is 100OFF. It's all capped. And they can get a coupon, that expires tomorrow night. So I want to put a sense of urgency on that. Maybe I should have done it just for today, but give a little bit extra time, $100 off.
Well, the reality is that we're bringing an opportunity to the world. Who sees it, how they see it, when they see it, the timing may not necessarily be there. However, Eric, you're always creating great stuff, great content, and thank you for coming back. And I know that this is an opportunity that people can change their direction. They can change the way they see things. They can change their future by learning something new, doing something different, and taking action and actually doing the work. So thank you so much for sharing this with us today.
Thank you again for having me on. I love being on your show.
Yeah. And also, everyone, I'm talking to you now, go subscribe to my YouTube channel. In 2021, I'm continuing to work on the YouTube channel. You can get notified for all of the shows, and we're actually on Twitch now. So we're doing Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all of the primary socials. And you can download the podcast. I'm even on Pandora. I don't know if you listen to Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, where all fine podcasts are sold. So just reach out, grab this information, give it a listen, review it. 5 stars would be great. I love that you would review it. So support the pirate community. A lot of great people like Eric coming on board, sharing their information, doing the work, helping others. And I just want to make sure that everybody has a great day and it continues to grow with the opportunities that are out there. So any last parting words? Wisdom? Eric?
Pay it forward. Pay it forward. I think that's what you do very well. And it's a good example in what we're experiencing now and what we have been experiencing for the past year is, being willing to help out. That's what you do so well. So I think that's a great role model to have to pay it forward for others.
Kate O'Hara joined us. Good morning. Love your goals and practicing message. Never heard of the Pirate Broadcast. Please come on our global hemp platform to discuss industrial hemp and how to reach our farmers. Connect with me. Track me down on LinkedIn. DM me, Kate. Happy to connect and have a conversation. As always, everyone, kindness is cool, smiles are free, and you enjoy your day. Thanks, Eric. Appreciate you.
Thanks.
Everyone, enjoy your day. Thank you for joining the Pirate Broadcast. If you found this content valuable, please like, comment, and share it across your social media channels. I would love the opportunity to help others grow in their business. The Pirate Syndicate is a platform where you show up, we produce the show. It's that easy. If you want to be seen, be heard, and be talked about, join the Pirate Syndicate today.